So peace be with you.
Also with you.
So good to have you here on this Sunday, the 8th Sunday after Pentecost. The story that Tom just read for us appears only in this one instance in the entire Bible, just in Luke. Nowhere else does this story appear. And more than any other writer who wrote in the New Testament, Luke zooms in on the relationship between our faith and our money. And this is another instance of that. Someone in the crowd yells out to Jesus, "Teacher, order my brother to give me a fair share of the family inheritance." And Jesus does answer him. Jesus says, no, I won't do that. You're worrying about the wrong things. And let me tell you a parable story. And that was the story we just heard. A rich person gaining lots of possessions, not knowing what to do, kept collecting more fancy cars, built more garages for that, yachts. Some people have 2 mega yachts going around the world right now, famous paintings by Rembrandt, Picasso. And they thought, where can I keep all my stuff? I need more yachts, I need more houses, I need more mansions, more and more and more. And then I'll retire, go on cruises, take it easy, say, eat, drink, and be merry. And God showed up and said, you fool, tonight you will die. And whose will all that stuff be? Your barn full of goods. This is a brutal parable. The parable is brutal because, I don't know about you, but I feel it's aimed at me. So I want to save money for retirement. I would like to eat, drink, and be merry someday. Plus, I've been collecting lots of stuff in my barn. Lots of stuff. And recently, my daughter's family brought in all their stuff. So we had a double-stuffed house for some time. My daughter Becca and her husband Corey were all excited. They had finally found a fixer-upper in Brookline. The problem was it had to be fixed up. And so that took a lot of time and money, and to save that, they moved in with me. They said, Dad, it was back in December, nothing was going on at the time. And they said, it'd just be maybe a month, maybe 6 weeks. 7 months later, just a few weeks ago, they moved out. And let me tell you, Becca, Corey, and little Quinn, they have a lot of stuff. At first, I thought that we could actually share my own kitchen refrigerator. I would keep like my eggs and bacon in a certain part, but pretty soon, for breakfast, I was relegated to the basement refrigerator in my own house. There was no more room in my own refrigerator. They had so much stuff. Over these past 7 months, there'd be piles of stuff, tricycles, crayons, Play-Doh, laundry baskets, boxes of extra soy milk, train sets, gymnastic mat, children's books, more children's books from the libraries, more children's books that are gifts, medicine for Quinn, snacks for Quinn, special chair just for Quinn, stuffed animals for Quinn, yoga mats and weights for Corey and Becca. Piles of stuff in every room. So when I helped them move out 2 weeks ago today, I came back at the end of a long day moving to a very clean and empty house, totally empty. Hardly any stuff, it seemed, and I sat down at the dining room table where Quinn used to call me Grandpa Dragon, and she begged me, she wanted to chase me around the table and have her lift up upside down so she could walk on the ceiling. And so that's what Grandpa Dragons do. And so I sat down at that now very empty table in a very empty house, and I cried. I just cried. All that stuff that had been waiting to have disappeared from the house, not being able to even find my own things for the last 7 months, all of that It just didn't matter. It just didn't matter. Jesus says, don't worry about the wrong things. Don't worry about the wrong things. Focus on what matters. For me, is the chance for these 7 months to be with my daughter's family, to be a living grandpa, to help launch my son-in-law and daughter on their new life. And that's what matters: relationships, community, love. George Carlin. Who here has heard of George Carlin? Okay, yeah. So great. He has said, I love this quote: trying to be happy by accumulating possessions is like trying to satisfy hunger by taping sandwiches all over your body. Isn't that great? So trying to be happy by accumulating possessions is trying to satisfy your hunger by just taping sandwiches on your body. And yet we keep trying, don't we? We keep trying to do that. I have a few sandwiches that are taped to my body right now. Can you see those sandwiches right there? I can't quite trust. I still have some fear. I want a good retirement plan. I want to save. I want a solid savings account. We're all taught to plan for emergencies. We're all taught to dream of our retirement where we can eat, drink, and be merry. And so, I have to say, it doesn't seem wrong to me what this rich person wants in the parable, and the wants to plan for the future. And notice what Jesus doesn't say. He doesn't say if the rich man was making this unjustly or through corruption. That's not, there's nothing negative about that at all, how the money was made, until God appears and declares him a fool. New Testament teacher Jennifer Wyant at the Chandler School of Theology in Atlanta, she points out this silence, this gap. The parable is silent about how the rich person made their fortune. The parable is silent about whether this rich person has been unjust or just in amassing the fortune. Jennifer Wyant, the theologian, says the rich person's mistake is not in how they made the money, it's in what they believed it could do for them. They put their trust in possessions and not in God, That's what made him foolish. He made a huge miscalculation. He was focused on the wrong thing. In many ways, we humans can make huge miscalculations. We focus on the wrong things. Just look at, there's a lot of anniversaries this week. Look at some horrible miscalculations, terrible things we have done. In 1945, on August 6th in Hiroshima, and August 9th in Nagasaki, the US dropped the first atomic bombs in war. Next Saturday, and I believe, thank you, Lise, for pointing this out, I believe it's next Saturday, there'll be a celebration in Watertown where, in silence, in commemoration, in memory of this saying, no more to atomic war, people will be launching candle boats on the Charles River from the docks. It's a symbol of saying, no more, never again, never again. What happened was horrific, absolutely horrific. And war is so evil. It's so evil in all its many forms. And we can be so full of fear of the other, fear of not having enough. So often war is a battle over resources. We want this, we want that, and we scapegoat certain people saying They're the ones who are causing the scarcity of resources. We need to keep it for ourselves and box them out or kill off a certain group of people. We can be so full of fear, so full of fear. And look what we're doing. The Peace Research Institute in Oslo, the PRIO, they conduct research on the conditions for peaceful relations between states and groups and various groups of people. And this year of 2025 and 2024, these years have seen a surge in violence and war not seen since World War II. Currently in the world, there are 61 ongoing conflicts across 36 countries, active conflicts. That means 10,000 or more people being killed every year in addition to starving and forced off land. We love to fight over resources. And it begins with childhood. We love to dream about one day maybe I'll be a millionaire or a billionaire. It'll happen. Have you played that game growing up? You know, you ask your childhood friend, if you had $1 million, what would you do? Of course, we have to update it to inflation. If you had $10 million, what would you do? And I ask you right now.
Buy a house, or maybe even maybe own a business.
Right. You know exactly.
A new building when owning a business.
Exactly, and I would want to do that too. Yes, I want to buy a house. I have a 12-year-old car. I want to fix it up, or maybe get a new car. I would do that if I had $10 million. Maybe I'd do that. So, and maybe you'll
do all of that.
And all of that, yeah. So we dream about that. So think about what would you do if you had not $1 million, but $10 million. $10 million. That's a lot of money. A lot of money. I would also pay off debt for my family. I'd travel, going on adventures. I would give to some of my favorite charities too. I would do that. But what would you do if you had all that money? And so a friend this week was asking me, well, what would you do if you had all that money, Eric? What would you do? What would you do? And I gave the answer, fix the car, give some charity, go on adventures. But my friend persisted, what do you really want? What do you really want? I answered, I want to be loved. I want to be in love. I want a loving family and friends. I want to sing, play music, do dancing and theater. And I love adventures. That's what I wanted. I want adventures. Some of my favorite adventures have actually been leading groups of people to work at Habitat for Humanity. That's an incredible adventure. Or with my daughter in high mountains, crazy adventures, skiing through avalanche zones far above any ski resort with special AV equipment and transmitters and body probes for the bodies next to you that fall in the crevasses and ropes. And I love adventures. Who here loves adventures? I love adventures. Yes, adventures. That's what I want. I love adventures in theater too.
I go on adventures pretty much every weekend by riding the bus and the train.
That is an adventure. Yes, that is an adventure. It's a great. I love train adventures. I've taken the train overnight across.
I meant like the MBTA.
Oh yes. That is, if you survive, that is an adventure. Yes, it is. So, and I love adventures too. Like we have every year, we have a Christmas play here, and it's a story of transformation. Someone realizing what to do with their possessions. Something like A Christmas Carol, and Scrooge becomes so giving and loving, and we share that with hundreds of people that come in, and we give all our proceeds to Common Cathedral that we partner with, and that's an adventure. I love adventures like that. That's what I love. So don't worry about the wrong things. Instead, love God, love neighbor. And that's why we delight. I'm so inspired by you and your ways of focusing on what really matters and inspiring all the rest of us to stay on that, because we are so drawn into fights over resources. We want more for ourselves, and we hold on to it in a very stagnant way. This past week, last 2 weeks, I've been delighting in one of our members, Fiona Rodriguez Clark. She was recently featured in the Belmont Voice, and on a feature, she also features and graces us with her cello sometimes too. She's just finished her junior year at Belmont High School, and she's been on an amazing trip to Mexico with the Boston Philharmonic Youth Orchestra, which is very difficult to get into. And Fiona's conductor, Benjamin Zander, is one of the world's most well-known classical conductors, and she gets to learn from him and to be on tour in Mexico with Benjamin Zander, learning from one of the world's greats, and playing for people of a different culture and different ages, and trying to bridge that gap. And just a couple weeks ago, they were playing at a concert in Mexico. And following that concert of the Boston Philharmonic Youth Orchestra, the American ambassador, because you know how tense things are right now, the American ambassador approached Director Zander and whispered in his ear, "You did more good tonight with your concert than all the politicians. You did more good than all the politicians." And Zander says he encourages his students to develop their skills, sensitivity, and ultimately love through the program. He said, in the end, it's all about love. This is a conductor speaking. It's all about love. It's all about love. Building bridges between people, cultures, and the ages. This amazing youth orchestra. When politicians fail, it's up to people like Benjamin and Fiona. So don't worry about the wrong things. It's all about love. It's all about love. Love God, love neighbor. And that's why you constantly inspire me in this congregation, online, here. Those who are on vacation, you may be watching the video recorded, or you may not. But you all inspire me. You inspire me so much. Because in this community, we're not just taping sandwiches to our body, in case we get hungry in the future. I don't see you doing that. Instead, we are making sandwiches, for the hungry, which is amazing. We are teaching
sandwiches. What does that mean?
We make sandwiches and we deliver them to the outdoor church in Cambridge, which how we partner with people who are living on the street or are in bad times in their life. And so we're sharing our sandwiches. Instead of keeping them taped to our body, we're bringing them to people who are really hungry.
I thought you meant like taking a sandwich in like your sleeve. That'd be silly.
That would be very silly. Yes, it would be. And so God's saying that would be focusing on the wrong thing. We need to take that sandwich off and to give it to someone in need, And we also, I was really impressed with VBS, our compassion camp, and Josh was leading the kids in making hygiene kits to give away for people, families who are in distress, families who are struggling now, families fleeing war and famine. We embrace so many causes like that. So you inspire me not to worry about the wrong things. Thanks be to God. Thank you so much.